So with this limited resources, how we can make utilization of our resources? With the limited resources, we have to fulfill our wants. And it is not easy to fulfill the unlimited wants with the help of the limited resources. So it means you have to take better decisions that how to make best utilization of resources. And this is known as economics. Economics tell you that you have limited money, but with that limited money, how to fulfill all desires, how you can take wise decisions. You are a businessman, you have limited labor, you have limited raw material, maybe you have limited technology, but with that technology, with that limited labor, how you can produce more and more? It is economics. I have limited money in my hand, but how to fulfill all my needs with that limited money? That economics teaches us. So economics basically tells us that how we can make best utilization of resources. One is the utilization, second is the best utilization, which is also known as optimum utilization. So here I'm talking about the optimum utilization. You need to make the optimum utilization of the resources, which is very, very important. So what is economics? Economics is the study of how people choose to use resources of their unlimited wants. Our wants are limited, but how we can make best utilization of those resources, that is economics. It is the study of individual, household, and firm behavior. Just a second. Resources include the time and talented people have available land. So here seeing what is the mean of resources? Resources mean land, it can be a building, it can be a raw material, it can be a technology, it can be your machinery, everything is limited. So you need to make the best utilization of them by studying the demand of the people, by studying the cost which is generating in producing the product and services and all. So this is an economics. In simple terms, again, I'm repeating, economics means with the limited resources, how you can make best utilization of them. Economics generally of, otherwise there is so many types of the economics. Agriculture economics we are having, microeconomics we are having, macroeconomics we are having, different types of the economics we have read. Indian economy is there, but generally economy is classified into two categories, microeconomics and macroeconomics. So first we talk about the microeconomics. Micro basically means small. So here the microeconomics, basically it is the study of individual units. It is the study of individual units. Now, what is the mean of individual units? Individual units, you will not study the whole economy here. You will talk about a single firm. You can talk about a single supplier. You can talk about a single customer. You can talk about a single retailer, single wholesaler. You are talk about single person. You are talk about individual person. Because single supplier, one supplier problem can be different from the other supplier. One customer's problem can be different from the other customer's problem. One firm problem or one company problem can be different from the other company's problems. So microeconomics says that all the individual units have the different kinds of the problems. So we have to cater out their problems on the basis of their requirements. So microeconomics is the study of a single firm, single customer, single individual, single wholesaler, single retailer, single supplier, single producers. So microeconomics suggests as per the requirement of a single company, maybe as per the requirement of a single customer, that how they can make utilization of resources, how they can take better decisions, how they can make use of the resources, how they can spend the money in different ways so that they can satisfy their needs as well as wants. So next we talk about the macroeconomics. Now, what is a macroeconomics? Like I told you, in micro, we talk about an individual units. But in macroeconomics, we do not talk about individual units. We talk about the whole economy. We do not talk about a single firm. We talk about the whole industry. Like there is a
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, we are not able to hear your voice. I'm so sorry, learners. There's some network issues with her, so she'll be coming in a while. I just called her. She'll be coming in a minute. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
Yes, that was an internet connection. Uh, there was a problem of internet connection. So I'm going to start with the macroeconomics. That in macro, we talk about the whole economy. We talk about the, poverty. We talk about the unemployment. So if I'm talking about a Procter and Gamble company, it
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you. Ma'am, can you do the full screen? I mean, can you please do it
yes,
full
yes,
screen?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Is it
Thank you,
fine?
ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. It is fine. Thank you so much.
Yes. So if I'm talking about the Procter and Gamble company, it is the study of microeconomics. But suppose if I'm talking about the industry, so here I'm not talking, but if I'm talking about suppose cosmetic industry, steel industry, there are different kinds of the industries are there, food industry is there. So this is the macroeconomics. So macroeconomics basically includes unemployment, inflation, poverty, aggregate consumption, aggregate demand. So these are the whole economy problem. These are not a single individual problem. These are not a single customer problem. Unemployment is not a company problem. It is a country problem. Poverty is not a company problem. It is a country problem. Aggregate consumption. I'm not talking about the consumption of a single customer. I'm talking about the consumptions of all of the customers, all of the people who are consuming in our economy. Aggregate supply. I'm not talking about the supply of a single product, single company product. Here I'm talking about the all of the products which are produced in an economy in a fixed period of time. So this is the macroeconomics. There is a relationship between the micro and macroeconomics. Both work together, both depend upon each other. Microeconomics basically depend upon macroeconomics, because for micro it is very important to study the macroeconomics. For example, as a employer, you want to give salary to your employee. You want to decide the salary of your employee. So first, what you will do, you will look after what your competitors are providing salary. And as per the environment, as per the competition, as per your competitors are providing the salary, you will decide the wage of the employee. So exactly what you are doing, first you are looking after the competition, you are studying the whole economy, and after that you will decide that what salary your company will provide to a particular candidates. Similarly, if you want to set up the price of a single commodity, first you will see that what my competitors are providing and how, on which price they are providing the product. Suppose you want to sell a shampoo in the market. First, you will see that how many competitors we are having in the shampoo market, and who are your competitors, and what is their price level. And according to that, you will fix your price level. Fine. You do not want to set up the price which is very low from the competitor's price or very high from the competitor's price. In both of the cases, you will be in trouble. Fine. So in microeconomics, First, sometimes we have to study the macroeconomics. First, sometimes we have to see that what our competitors are doing, what the industry is doing, what is going on in the industry, and according to that, we take the decision for a farm. Similarly, macroeconomics also depend upon microeconomics. Suppose if you want to study the aggregate demand, first, what you need to do? You need to find out the demand of a single customer. When you will add up the demand of all of the customer, then you will be able to calculate the aggregate demand. Similarly, if you want to set up the per capita income, this is a micro part. If you want to set up the per capita income, it is very important for you to study the national income. Clear? So if you want to calculate the national income, per capita income is very, very important to study. So micro depend upon macro, macro depend upon micro. For few things, you need to first analyze the microeconomics, and then you will take the decision for your firm. Fine. And similarly, for macro is also depend upon the micro. Sometime what you need to do, you need to study what the individual firm is doing, what is the demand of a single customer, so that on the basis of that I can decide the demand of the whole economy. First, you need to decide the per capita income, and by adding the per capita income or the income of an individual customer, what I will do, I will be able to calculate national income. So both depend upon each other. But still, yes, there is a difference between them. Number one, the degree of aggregation. In macroeconomics, we talk about the aggregation. Like you have read, there is an aggregate supply. Look at there, aggregate consumption, aggregate supply, aggregate demand, aggregate supplier, aggregate cost. So this is the one difference of degree of aggregation, that in macroeconomics, we talk about the aggregate, but in microeconomics, we talk about the individual product. We talk about the individual customer. We talk about the cost of a single product. The second is the paradoxes. Now, what is the meaning of paradoxes? It means that sometimes what happen, few decisions, are beneficial in microeconomics, but they are not beneficial in the macroeconomics. Similarly, few decisions are beneficial in the macroeconomics, but in microeconomics, they are not beneficial. For example, if one person withdraw all his money from the bank, it is fine. Bank doesn't have any issue. If a single customer withdraw all his money from the bank, it doesn't matter for a bank. But if all of the customer of the bank, they withdraw the money from the bank, then bank will be in trouble. It means if one individual is withdrawing money, it is microeconomics, no issue. But if all the customers are withdrawing money, bank will be bankrupt. There will be no money in the bank. So there is a problem. So this happen in many cases. Similarly, if one person is, depositing all his money in the bank, it is fine, no issue. He is saving maximum. But if all of the people start to save in the banks, then who will invest? And without investment, how the economy will grow? Without investment, how the demand will increase for different things? So for microeconomics, it is fine that one customer is saving all his money. But in case of macroeconomics, it is not feasible. It will impact the economy. Third is the analytical differences. In microeconomics, we generally talk about the equilibrium. So what is the equilibrium? It is a stage of balance. It is a stage where demand and supply are equal, where profit and losses are equal. So in microeconomics, generally says that economy adjusts itself. So if you come to a situation which is more than the equilibrium point, automatically changes in the economy, and you will directly come to the equilibrium point. A simple example is there. Suppose demand is greater than the supply. Now what will happen? Demand is greater than supply. It means you are getting, very huge profit because there is a very high demand in the market for the product. Now what will happen? Demand is high, price will become high. And as the price will increase, many customers will think that they'll not purchase the product because now the price has been increased. Automatically, demand will come down and demand will become equal to the supply. It means economy adjusts itself and automatically it comes to the equilibrium point. You need not to do anything. That is true that economy sometimes adjusts itself. But in macroeconomics, it is a stage of disequilibrium. We do not talk about the equilibrium. We do not talk about a stage where demand and supply are equal, profit and losses are equal. Fourth is the changes. Now, under it, microeconomics says that if we talk about a family, in microeconomics, what basically happened that, for example, if we talk about a family, in a family, suppose the persons are increasing. This changes point says that sometime on micro part, the changes are taking place in the economy, but on macro part, the changes are not taking place. Generally, what happens? If at a micro part, the changes are taking place, definitely the changes will take at macro part. Because if one individual income is increasing, definitely the total national income will increase. If one individual customer demand is increasing, definitely it will affect the aggregate demand. But some cases, sometime it is not possible. We take the example of a family. Suppose one family members are increasing. So what should happen? The total population must increase because in one family, the members are increasing. But sometime it happens that suppose in one family, two members are increasing. But that may also happen that in other family, the two members are decreasing. That may happen. So what will happen? At micro part, the changes are taking place. But at macro part, the total population is same. Because in some family birth are taking places and maybe in some family deaths are taking places. So both things balance each other. So sometime what happen? There is no change in the total population. But at macro part, yes, there is a micro part, there is a changes. Factor study. In microeconomics, we study, demand, supply, market condition, cost, income, revenue. But at macro part, we study aggregate demand. We talk about the, national income. We talk about the unemployment. We talk about the poverty. There are different factors we study. So there are different factors which we study under micro and macro part. Now, next is the managerial economics. Because your subject is managerial economics, so it is very important for you to understand. Actually, managerial economics, it is a branch of microeconomics. Then what is the difference between micro and managerial economics? Microeconomics is a broad concept and managerial economics is part of it. Fine. Under managerial economics, we study only those factors which are related to a firm, which are related to an organization. What organization talk about? In which thing organization is interested? Organization is interested in demand to analyze. Organization is interested that how the company can control the price and how to fix the price. Organization is interested in cost, in supply, in market conditions, in analyzing the consumer behavior, how the consumer take decisions. So under managerial economics, we study only those topics which are related to a firm, which are related to the organization, in which the organization is interested. Because by study all of these things, all of these topics, the organization can increase the profit. The organization maybe can decrease the cost, can set up the price, can easily understand the consumer behavior. So managerial, what is the managerial here means? Decision making and forward planning. So managerial economics helps the manager to take a decision as well as to plan. Because when they will study the demand chapter, through there, they came to know that how the demand is increasing, how the demand is decreasing, how they can change the demand of the customer. They can control the demand. By studying the cost, they are able to understand that how many types of cost they are having, how they can control the cost. By focusing on which factor they can reduce the cost as well as increase their profit. So that is why it is also known as applied microeconomics. So why it is known as applied microeconomics? Because it is using the models, the principles, the concept of microeconomics, but only those principles, those models which are applied in the organization to increase their profit, to reduce their cost, and for better decision making. Now we talk about the nature of managerial economics. The first is the applied economic theory. It is an applied economic theory because you apply all these concepts to solve out the managerial problems, to solve out the problems of a firm. Pragmatic means practical. Managerial economics is very practical. It is based on logic. It is based on some fundamental principles which help you out in better utilization of resources as well as to take better decisions. Multidisciplinary. Economics is multidisciplinary in nature. What is multidisciplinary? Because here you will make use of psychology, you will make use of statistics, you will make use of mathematics, you will make use of operation research, which mean that how you can make best utilization of resources. It mean in economics, you will not only study economics, you will little bit study about the statistics, you will make use of mathematics, you will make use of psychology, you will make use of sociology, you will make use of operational research. Fine. Descriptive means to describe. What is this? Managerial economics describe what it describes. It describes that what is happening in the organizations and how the organization can control it. It describes that if the company is not able to decrease the cost, what are the reasons behind it? Why the company is failed? Why the company is locked down? Why the company is not able to increase the demand? Why the company is not able to change the price? It describes, a firm situation. Prescriptive means prescribe, like doctor prescribe you medicine. So managerial economics prescribe you something. Now what it prescribes you? It prescribes you some models, some techniques with the help of which you can increase your profit. You can take better decisions. If your product is having less demand, it will suggest you some solution. If your cost is very high, economics will suggest you some solution. It will prescribe you some solution. It will prescribe you some model, maybe some technique, so that you can take better decisions, so that you can increase the demand, so that you can decrease the cost and maybe control the price. The next is the scope of managerial economics. Scope here basically means nothing. These are the chapters which you will study under managerial economics. The first is demand forecasting. It itself a chapter which you will study in coming lectures. So managerial economics helps you to forecast the demand. So under it, you will study that how you can analyze the demand for a product, because which is very, very important for an organization to understand that how to forecast the demand. Because if the demand is increasing, then you need to increase your production. If the demand is very low for a particular product, maybe you need to go for the diversification. Production function. Production describe the relationship between the input as well as the output. It will tell you that how you can control your production, how you can, how you need to take better decisions at different production stages. Cost analysis, again, it's itself a chapter. It will tell you that how many costs are there, how you can control the cost, how you can decrease the cost of a product, sometime even without changing the price, how you can make best utilizations of your resources, your input, so that you can decrease your cost. Inventory management. It again a chapter. It will tell you that how you can control the inventory, which is very, very important, because if you are, beautifully or wisely managing your stock, then definitely you are able to save your money and you are able to decrease your cost. Price system. It will tell you that how you need to set up the price of your product so that the more and more customers should purchase your product at different production stages. How to decide the price of a product. You need to study the competition, how your competitors are, setting up the prices of a product. Capital management, budgeting. It will tell you that how you should make your budget, how you should make best utilization of your capital. Fine. How much you have to spend on the input, how much you need to take the money from the banks, and also everything you will study over here, that how you can make best utilization of your money and you can make a better budget. Profit management. It will tell you that how you can increase your profit level. There are different policies, profit policies are there. Break-even analysis. Break-even basically means a point where there is no profit, no loss. So it will shows you that at which point you will be in the equilibrium stage. And after that, how you need to make changes in your strategies so that you can increase the profit of your company. Resources allocation, how you can make best utilization of resources. Decision theory under uncertainty. There are three kinds of the situation which we face in our life, that is certainty, uncertainty, and risk. During certainty, we are certain that it will happen, so there is nothing to decide. There is no need to decide because you are 100% sure that will happen. There is no risk. But what happened during risk situation or during the uncertainty situation? We need to, make use of certain models, certain concepts, so that we can take the better decisions. So it will tell you that when there is a risk situation, how you can take better decision. When there is an uncertainty in your life, then how you need to make, how you need to take better decisions. So how you can do that? You will study under it. Role of a managerial economics. So what are the duties of a managerial economics? The first is the studies the business environment. So it is the duty of an economist to study the business environment, what your competitors are doing, what price they are setting, what kind of, cost techniques they are using, what is the demand of the product in the market, which product is having large demand in the market, fine, and what competitors are doing, whether they are doing the diversification in the product or they are expanding their business and all, what kind of the changes are coming, in the strategies which are adopted by your competitors. So it is very, very important so that your company can take wise decision. Even before starting a new business, any one of you may be an entrepreneur in the future. So when you start a new business, firstly, you will study the whole environment. Fine. And after studying the whole environment, you will decide that what you have to produce. Demand forecasting and estimation. It is very important for economics to, check out that how they can estimate the demand of a product, how they can forecast the demand of a product. There are very kinds of the technique, that how the price can bring changes in the demand, how the income can changes in the demand, how the price of substitute and complementary products can bring changes in the demand, which all you will study in the demand chapter. Don't worry, everything you will study in the demand chapter, that how you can forecast the demand, what models, what concept you will use over here. It is very important for economics, to determine the cost of a product, to find out that how you can control the cost of a product, which you will study under the cost chapter. Market conditions, there are different market conditions. There is a perfect competition, imperfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly. Under these different market conditions, how you have to take decision, how you need to set up the price of a product. Even again, market condition, again itself a chapter. You will study in the coming classes that under monopoly, what is perfect competition, what is imperfect competition, how you will take decisions under different market conditions. Focuses on earning reasonable profit. It is the duty of an economics to increase the profit level of an organization. How to increase the profit? By increasing the demand, by setting up the right price of a product, by decreasing the cost of a product, by making a balance between the input as well as the output, by wisely understanding the consumer needs as well as the wants. So economics will tell you how to do all of that. Statistical records, definitely it is your duty to keep a record, all the statistical record. Like in last 5 months, suppose the government want to make a policy. How the government make a policy? First, the government collect the statistical record. The government collect the data of maybe last 5 years, maybe last 10 years, that what is happening in the economy in last 10 years, in last 5 years. On the basis of that, the government take a decision. Supply of economic information, and it is the duty of an economist to provide the economic information. It is nothing but the same, that what the competitors are doing, how they are spending, how they are taking decisions, what is happening in the economy, which product is having demand in the market, what are the opportunities available in the market. So it is an economics duty to tell all of these things. So managerial economics and other discipline, I told you in the nature that managerial economics is multidisciplinary. So it is multidisciplinary because managerial economics is making use of statistics, mathematics, accounting, operational research. So it is multidisciplinary in nature. Managerial economics, and traditional economics, same. Managerial economics is the part of microeconomics. That is why it is also known as applied microeconomics. So what you are doing, managerial economics is also using the basic fundamentals of the microeconomics, which is in traditional economics. Second is managerial economics and statistics. In statistics, maybe I hope that you have read about the probability.
Sorry, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. There is one question. Sumit Sharma has raised the question that can you please elaborate the study of business environment?
Okay. Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Studies the business environment. Now, what is the meaning of studies the business environment? Business environment basically means you need to, study what is happening, in the business. Suppose I'm in the steel industry. So I need to understand that what is happening in the steel industry, how many competitors I'm having in the steel industry, what is the government policy related to a steel industry, fine, how many competitors are there, what is their strategy for, steel is used for a different kinds of the things, how the steel is used, how the demand of the steel is increasing, whether we need to make changes in the quality of the steels or not. Fine. So you need to understand all of these things. What is the competition at national level in the steel industry? What is the competition at international level in the steel industry? So this is the business environment. So that at least you can take decisions. How you can decrease the cost of a steel, you know, and how you need to improve the quality of a steel. Like we have seen that with the passage of time, there is a lot of improvement in the steel part. Fine. So, and you also need to understand that what are the multiple uses. In the beginning, we talk about few years back, steel was used maybe one or two purpose, but here we have seen that with the passage of time, steel is used for a multiple purpose. Even steel is, replacing the wooden also on so many things. So you need to understand that what can be the multiple use. You need to explore that for which purpose you can make use of the steel. So this is, I'm talking about the one particular industry. Similarly, every industry, in whichever industry you are having, you need to understand all of these things. Is it clear? Is it clear? Shall I need to elaborate it?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear. But actually, I just wanted to ask one more thing, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please suggest some mediums by the use of which we can make such studies?
Yes. There are some different kind of the resources which are available to study it. Number one, you can make use of the reports. Like the country, like at national level, we have the different kinds of the report. Government have their report. Firstly, read all of these reports. Through reports, you came to know that what are the changes taking place in a particular area, in a particular industry. Number two, through, you need to go for the research. When you will go for the research, through there you came to know that, number one, how many industries, how many firms are available, how many competitors are available in a particular industry. Through market research, you came to know that how many competitors we are having in a particular industry. Number one. Number two, through market research, you came to know that how many competitors, they are planning to enter into the market. Suppose if the government is having, very lucrative policy for, those firms which are manufacturing these steels. So definitely what will happen in the future, the competition will increase. Why? Because the government is planning to expand this industry. The government is, planning to increase to provide the subsidies to the competitors and all. Or maybe the government is planning to expand the business at international level, or maybe at international level, the demand of a product is increasing. So we need to increase it. So this is the understanding of the environment. Like maybe you have, heard about it when there was a war. Still the war is between the Ukraine as well as the Russia. At that time, there was a huge demand of the wheat. So through there, people came to know that there is a war, and now Ukraine is in the war. So Ukraine is not able to supply the wheat because Ukraine is also the big supplier of the wheat. Fine, India is a big supplier of a wheat. Then India understood that. The government understood that at that time that Ukraine is not in that situation. So this is the time when we can make the best utilization of this opportunity. So what happened at that time? The agricultures, the farmers, they understood that this is the opportunity which they can avail. So you need to go for the market research. You need to go for the different surveys. You need to at national level and international level, there is a different kinds of the report every year. Government makes the report on the different industry. The government prepare the report which is related to the every industry, that what are the opportunity available in the different industry, what the government is doing, what the government is planning. So through there you came to know about the environment. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So similarly, the managerial economics and the mathematics. So under managerial economics, we make use of the mathematics. Now we will talk about how we make use of the mathematics. In managerial economics, we study the practical problems, like how to calculate the elasticity of a demand, how to calculate the cost. So there are certain symbols, we make use of the geometry, we make use of the linear programming. All these are the mathematical concepts. So you use these mathematical concepts, find out the, demand, to find out the cost, to determine the price and all. Managerial economics and accounting. Under managerial economics, we study the accounting also. Accounting, basically, it provides you the informations about the spending of an organization, how the organization is creating the budget, how the organization is making the utilizations of the capital and all. So under managerial economics, we study all these parts, that how the companies making use of the capital, how they are making use of the capital to make best utilization of the resources and all. How the different resources you can, spend in different sectors. Managerial economics and operational research. Operational research is a subject which tells you that how you can make best utilization of resources. And this subject was generated during the Second World War, when the country which were participating in the war, they were lacking with the different kinds of the resources. So this subject generated at that time. And even in managerial economics, you talk about that how we can make the best utilization of limited resources. If you have read about this subject, operational research, there is a game theory, there is assignment theory, there is a linear programming. We make use of these concepts in managerial economics. Managerial economics and decision making. Decision making under certainty, under uncertainty, under risk. In managerial economics, you will study all these concepts. That if there is a risk situation, how to take decision. If there is an uncertainty situation, how you can take decisions. There is a difference between the risk and uncertainty, which is very, very need to understand. Look at there. If you are certain about one thing, there is no need to take a decision. If you know that today there will be rain, there is nothing to decide, because you know that that will happen. You are 100% sure that will happen. But what happens when we have risk in our life? When we are uncertainty? Uncertainty means you cannot assign the probability. If I'll ask you that whether it will rain today, you cannot assign any probability whether there will be rain today or rain not today. This is uncertainty. It is and what is the mean of risk? Risk means at least you can assign some probability. You can say that 10% chance it will rain today, 20% chance it will not rain today, 50%, 40% chance that the demand of the product will increase, and 60% chance that the demand of the product will not increase. But under uncertainty, you cannot assign the probability. So during risk and during uncertainty, these are two situations in which a firm need to decide. And economics will tell you, it will gives you different models that under these situations, by using these models, how you can take better decisions. Managerial economics and psychology. What is the meaning of psychology here? You need to understand your consumer, how your consumers are taking decisions, how they are spending their income, how much price they are ready to pay. You need to understand all of these. Once you understand the customer psychology, and according to that, you will take the decision. So this is multidisciplinary in nature. Now, it is very, very important for economics to understand the environment. Pastel, it is which is used to understand the environment. Here, P means political environment, E means economic environment, C means social environment, E means technological environment, and L means legal environment. It is very, very important for an organization and for a managerial economist to understand this pastel, so that according to that, you can take a decisions. Suppose you are planning to expand your business, but there is a political disturbance in the economy taking place. So what will happen? Ultimately, you may face loss in the future. So it is very important for you, what kind of the political changes are coming in the environment. Industries are very much interested. In 2025, like we have an elections. Next year we are having an elections. Now the companies are very interested, whether we have the Congress, whether we have the India, political party, or whether we have the BJP. Why? because they knows their strategies, how these political parties work. They are very interested in that. And according to that, industry, make changes in their decisions. It is very, very important. If I want to expand my business in Russia, it is very important for me to understand the political instability which is taking place in the Russia. Because otherwise in future I'll be in loss. Economic environment, very important for you to understand the economic environment of a country. If you want to expand your business, if you want to explore your business, if you want to diversify, you need to understand what is the demand of the people, what is their income level, what price they are ready to pay, whether they will purchase in the future or not. Fine. How many competitors we are there? What are the government policies related to the import duty, related to the export duties and all? It is very, very important for us to understand. Social environment, very important. You need to understand the culture of a country. Without understanding the customer psychology as well as the culture, you cannot sell a product into the market. Very, very important to understand the culture. When Cadbury came into the market, it was failed in the market because it was failed to understand the culture of an economy. And later on, and now you can see that what is the situation of Cadbury right now. Everybody knows the name of Cadbury. Fine. So it is very, very important for us to understand the culture. As per the culture, you sell the product. A product which is like in northern India, it does not mean that it will be like in the southern India. It does not mean that it will be like by the, northern India, southern India, or eastern India, because our culture is different. If one product is like in India, it does not mean that it will be like it in America, because culture is different, psychology is different. We need to modify the product as per the culture. When Kellogg's came into the market in India, when Kellogg's came, it is an international company, brand. Now, when Kellogg's came into the Indian market, it was totally failed because Kellogg's were used under cold milk. In foreign country, it is used under cold milk. But when it came in India, it was failed. Then they do the market survey. They do the market research that why the Kellogg's is failed in Indian market. Then they came to know that in India, generally people like to drink hot milk. Here people do not have, most of the people, they do not, drink cold milk. They drink hot milk. And when you mix Kellogg's into the hot milk, it becomes, like a khichdi. They easily dissolve it. Then what they do that? The changes in the Kellogg's quality. The changes in the flakes quality. They makes the flakes more hard so that they do not very much dissolve in the hot milk. So very, very important to understand the culture of an organization. Technological environment. Very, very important for you to understand the technological environment as a businessman. What are the changes taking place in the economy? Artificial intelligence is coming. Companies are adopting the artificial intelligence. ChatGPT is coming. Many companies are adopting this augmented reality concept, virtual reality concept. Now companies need to understand this, how much it is important to adopt this technology. Otherwise, later on, what will happen? They will be in trouble. They will not be able to expand their business. You need to make changes in their, understand the technology. Have you heard about the Nokia brand? And today you see Nokia is nowhere. There was a time when every Indian people was having Nokia mobile phone in their hand. But what was wrong with the Nokia? Nokia was failed to understand the capacity of Android system. They were thinking that they'll not adopt the Android system, and in the future, even they will be successful. And what happened? Samsung adopted this Android system and they came into the Indian market. And what happened with the Nokia? Within 1 year, Nokia was out of the market. And even in today's market, Nokia is nowhere. Very, very less market share. Important for you to understand the technology. Otherwise, you will be failed. Legal factor. Legal factor means If you want to start a business in a particular district, in a particular state, in a particular company, maybe in the phone market, you need to understand that what are their legal factors, what are the factors which are related to the environment, what are the factors which are related to the building acquiring. You need to understand all of these factors so that later on you will not face any kind of the problems. So these are the political factors, economic factors, social factors, technological factors, environmental factors, legal factors. They are described over here. Now, what are the advantages of studying pastel? Why it is very important to understand the environment? Number one, cost effectiveness. Yes, you can control the cost of your product by understanding this pastel factor. You can decrease the cost. You can control the cost. Deeper understanding. You more and more you will understand the environment, more and more you will understand your business. If you fail to understand the environment, it means you are failed to carry on your business, which is very important. Alertness development, that create a kind of the development in your business, because through it you came to know what government is planning in the future. So you are able to grab the opportunities. How you came to know the opportunities? When you study the environment. Without the market survey, you are not able to identify that what are the opportunities are available in the market, what the government is planning to do in the future, what are your competitors are thinking. Very, very important for you. Or what the customer is planning. Maybe consumer taste is changing. See the food industry, how drastically food industry has changed. There is a lot of demand of the, junk food in India. How the fast food industry has changed, how it is developing, very important for you to understand. Exploit opportunities. If you want to grab the opportunities on a right time, very important for you to understand. Otherwise, what will happen? Your competitor will grab the opportunity and the competitor will, catch the whole market and you will be fail in the markets. So you need to have a, very keen eye on the opportunities which are available in the market. Very important. Now we talk about the consumer surplus. Now, what is the meaning of consumer surplus? Do we have time, Kritika?
Actually, the time is up, but we can have like 5 minutes more.
5
In
minutes
case you
more.
want
Okay.
to cover it, you can cover it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have more 5 minutes. Any student have any doubt? Because after that, I want to continue. If any student have any doubt, please raise your query. Otherwise, I'm going to start it. So what is the meaning of consumer surplus? Consumer surplus basically mean that what the consumer is ready to pay. Sometimes what happen, we are ready to pay more money for a product, but we purchase that product at a less price. Suppose I want to purchase, shampoo, and I'm ready to pay for that shampoo 200 rupees. But when I go to the market, I came to know that the price of that shampoo is 150 rupees. I'll be happy. Why? Because I was ready to purchase this 200 rupees, but I'm paying only for it 150 rupees. That 50 rupees is my benefit. That 50 rupees will increase my satisfaction level. That 50 rupees increase the value for me. And this is known as consumer surplus. So consumer surplus is written over here, willingness to pay minus actual pay. What exactly you are ready to pay minus what exactly you are paying. So it is calculated as maximum price willing to pay minus actual price paid. Or we can say total utility minus price which you have, paid for different kinds of the items. Now look at this diagram. There are different articles you are purchasing. The price of first product is 25 rupees, actual price. Marginal utility means what you are ready to pay. You are ready to pay first product at 100 rupees, but it is available at 25 rupees. It means you are able to save 75 rupees. This increase your satisfaction level. This is your surplus. You want to purchase second product. The price of this product, actual price of this product is 25 rupees, but you are ready to pay this product at 75 rupees. So what is happening? It means you are getting the benefit of 50 rupees. It is your surplus. Similarly, for the other product, this is the diagram available over here. X-axis, you are having the demand of the product. Y-axis, you are having the prices of the product. This D and Q portion, When the price is ON, the demand for the article is OM. This D and Q portion, it is showing the consumer surplus. Why? Because you are ready to pay ON price. You are ready to pay ON price of a product. Fine. Sorry, you are ready to pay OD price of a product, but actually how much price you are paying ON? Look at here, y-axis ON OD. What I'm telling, you want to purchase a product, you want to pay OD price of a product, but actually you are paying ON price. So the portion which is above than the ND portion, this is showing the consumer surplus. So this is the consumer surplus diagram. And why it is very important for us to understand the, which is the last PPT for today, why it is very important for us to understand the consumer surplus. When the demand for the product is elastic, consumer surplus will be less. What is the mean of demand for good is elastic? It means the demand for those products, if a small change in price will come, automatically the demand for the product will change. Fine. So for those products for which a small change in price can bring a higher change in the demand, in that case, consumer surplus will be less. Demand for goods is inelastic. Inelastic products are those for which the demand is not easily changed. Like if we talk about the salt, if the price of salt is increasing, even then the demand for salt will be same. We will not purchase more and more salt. Similarly, if the price of salt is decreasing, it does not mean that we start to eat more salt in dishes. We start to use more salt in the dishes. That doesn't happen. It means their demand is inelastic. Generally, all the fast food products, generally for the these kinds of the product like salt and all, the demand for such kind of the product is inelastic. For wheat, the demand is inelastic. So in that case, consumer surplus will be more. Lower market price usually increase consumer surplus. Definitely, if the price of the product will be less, then what will happen? Your satisfaction level will be more, because to consume a product, you are paying less price. Higher market price usually decrease consumer surplus. Definitely, if the price for a product is very, very high, in that case, consumer surplus will be less. Why it will be less? Because you are ready to pay less price, but you have to pay the more price. We take the example of today's environment. This time inflation is very, very high. Every product prices is increasing. If we want to purchase a product, we want to pay the less price of the product, but the price of the product is very high. So our consumer surplus, our satisfaction level, our profit level is very, 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 very less if I talk about the today. Why? Because the inflation is very high. So as market prices will increase, your satisfaction level, your value, your profit level will decrease. And thank you so much for today. The remaining portion we will cover in the coming lectures. Thank you so much, Kritika. Thank you so much, whole team, as well as all the participants in the, this online class. And if any student have any doubt, please raise your query.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And if the learners, if you still have any query, you have the discussion portal in your LMS. You can raise any query regarding the particular subject. Thank you so much, ma'am. I actually have another class, so I have to.
Sure, Kritika, I understand. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.